Dear Divine Selves, on the eve of sacred Gita Jayanti, I extend hearty divine felicitations and greetings to all the devotees and lovers of Srimad Bhagavad Gita across the world. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Jayanti is celebrated every year on Moksha Ekadashi, which falls in the month of Margashirsha, second fortnight. So, in the Hindu calendar, in the month of Margashirsha, second Ekadashi, that is Moksha Ekadashi, and this year this Moksha Ekadashi falls tomorrow, that is 22nd of December. So, the seekers of self-realization, the seekers of divine grace that was showered more than 5,000 years ago on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and that is known as Song Celestial Bhagavad Gita, the divine revelation of the transcendent truth, reality eternal, as Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya declares that Srimad Bhagavad Gita is the quintessence of all the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita is not just an ordinary scripture. It is essence of entire Sanatana Dharma. It's the essence of entire Vedic literature. So let's begin exploring some dimensions of that eternal truth. Wisdom immortal, that is contained in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Wisdom that liberates anyone who seeks the transcendent, eternal, immortal wisdom of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and imbibes that wisdom, that truth in his or her day-to-day life, activities, character, practices. Then that wisdom of Srimad Bhagavad Gita becomes liberating from all this chain of death, birth, sorrows, sufferings, insecurities and fears by revealing the ultimate truth, the true nature of Brahman, the Almighty, omniscient, omnipresent and omniscient Lord. Almighty, omnipotent Lord, that is Brahman, Bhagavana, Sacchidananda, who is ever present in every single atom, every single particle of the universe that we know. The phenomenal universe we perceive, we know, and material scientists declare it as the sole ultimate reality. But the metaphysicists who have Hindu metaphysics, the sages and seers of India from time immemorial have delved deep into the eternal, immortal, universal principles of the existence, and then they have declared Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. That is the quintessence of all Vedic literature. Vedantic metaphysics, that the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Reality of the nature of Sacchidananda, eternal existence, pure consciousness and of blissful nature alone is the truth, the reality. And the entire world of names and forms known as phenomenal world is mere appearance on that supreme reality called Sacchidananda or Brahman, or even Lord Krishna, who was an incarnation of the Lord Supreme. So that the devotee would say that the Lord alone is supreme, Lord alone is real, but the Advaita Vedanta, the seekers of eternal truths contained in Shankar Vedanta, that is Advaita Vedanta, would tell you that the one indivisible, non-dual reality of the nature of pure consciousness and eternal existence alone is within me, within you, within everyone and everything, ever, everywhere. To know, to realize, to experience that supreme, transcendent, divine reality, that is the inmost reality of each one of us and everything, is called ultimate glory, ultimate accomplishment, Parampurushartha. In Vedic culture, that is the ultimate accomplishment, ordinarily called as Moksha, Nirvana, Brahmagyana, Brahmanishtha, self-realization, God realization, Brahman realization. They are variously called, but the truth is that when you realize true nature of yourself, you realize, experience and come to know the true nature of ultimate reality. Self-realization is God realization, Brahman realization, and Brahman realization is nothing but realization of your true nature. So let's begin in brief to delve a little bit deeper into the nature of supreme reality as contained in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as part of celebrating Gita Jayanti tomorrow. I invite you to join me to take up a couple of shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, and I find, as I have already stated in my previous lecture, I find 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita most fascinating, most beneficial. It leads you to realize your true nature immediately. Straight it takes you to the core of your existence. So, in the previous lecture, I introduced the chapter, and now that is called Kshetra Kshetragya Vibhaga Yoga. Now I'll take, as celebration of Gita Jayanti, I am taking up a few selected verses of this chapter in order to reveal the truth immediately, intuitively, directly. Which truth? Ultimate truth. Truth supreme. What is it about? It is about you, me, everyone, everything, ever, and that is called God realization, Brahman realization, or knowledge of this supreme reality, transcendent reality. So, today I intend to take up just two verses And once you try to understand the depth and width of these two verses, especially the 13th verse, you will hit upon the ultimate goal. That is immortality, that is called moksha. So let's see this first simple meaning of these two verses, and then I'll explain to you in simple words whereby you can understand it, imbibe it, and then go straight at the source of your own existence, that is Brahman, which and who is ever-present reality within you, within me, and everywhere. So today I'll take up two shlokas of 13th chapter, shloka 12th and 13th. Geyam yat pravakshami yat gyatva amritamasnute anadim mat param brahma na satta na saduchyate sarvatah panipa. And the next one, 13th chapter, 13th verse of the 13th chapter, most revolutionary. So in fact, let me first give the simple meaning of this one, 12th, because I will spend and focus most of my time today on 13th. So let me first explain in simple words the meaning of this one. Geyam yat pravakshami yad gyatva amritam asnute anadim mat param brahma na satta na swaduchyate. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that, "O Arjuna, I am going to tell you that knowledge, that wisdom about that Supreme Brahman who is knowable, Geyam, that ought to be known." Why? Why should it be known? Because knowing that alone, the mortal becomes immortal. Immortality is the ultimate objective of every jiva. Just not because Vedas have declared. You go and find a single insect, whether mosquito, squirrel, tiger, buffalo, or gods or demons or humans. Nobody wants to die. The death is the most terrible sorrow. That's why immortality signifies immortality. Attainment of immortality in Vedanta implies and means moksha, God realization, Brahman realization, sadhyo mukti, immediate self-realization, immediate liberation by knowing your true nature, in your own true nature, in your own essence. You were never born and would never die. You are never under bondage. It is illusion, ignorance, which alone is responsible for all sorrows and sufferings. So Lord Krishna says that, "O Arjuna, now I am going to explain to you that which ought to be known, Geyam, and knowing which one becomes immortal." And that immortality here means moksha, mukti, ultimate accomplishment in the Vedic culture. And that is of the nature of, now he is explaining the nature of that ultimate knowable, that is Brahman. What is the nature? Geyam yat pravakshami yat gyatva amritamasnute anadim mat param brahma nasat nastada uchyate. Anadim mat param brahma, that which is beginningless, anadi. Anadi, beginningless Brahman, Supreme Brahman, Supreme Reality, that is knowable, that ought to be known, knowing which we become or anyone becomes immortal. And that is beyond Sat and Asat. This needs a little bit of explanation. That Supreme Brahman, which is beginningless reality, can't be termed as Sat or Asat, neither real nor unreal. What do you mean by that? What he is saying, in ordinary understanding and human behavior, we call anything as existing or existent Sat only which is amenable to sensory perception. Anything and everything that is an object of my consciousness, I declare it as Sat. And anything and everything that is not amenable to my consciousness or my sensory perception, I declare it as Asata. That is ordinary worldly parameter. On that parameter, the Brahman, the beginningless reality, is neither Sat nor Asat, because Brahman is never an object of consciousness, and therefore Brahman is never in the category of Sat for ordinary human perception. And anything and everything that is not amenable to or an object of sensory perception or that can't be perceived by consciousness, that is not an object of consciousness, we declare it as Asata. The Brahman is not even in that category. Why? Let me reveal the hidden meaning. What it is meant here is that the Brahman being the very consciousness which perceives, which is perceiving, the knowing, the seeing power. Therefore, the consciousness never becomes an object of perception, and therefore it can neither be called Sat or Asata. It's beyond that to elaborate on that, the nature of Supreme Lord, the nature of ourselves. As in the previous lecture I told you, the second verse of the 13th chapter itself, Lord Krishna said, Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata. O Arjuna, I am ever present in the hearts and minds of all jivas as Kshetragya, as the knower of the field, knower of the body. The knowing principle, the knower, the perceiver, the experiencer, ultimate experiencer within every living being is none other than Sacchidananda. That is the Brahman, that supreme reality. Already declared, Lord Krishna says, I myself am present in the hearts and minds. That is Antakarana. I alone, as the Atman of all the jivas, individual selves, am present as the illuminer. That is consciousness principle he is referring to. And now here in detail, that seer within you or me, the perceiver within you and me, the consciousness, pure consciousness, in association with the body, it out of ignorance, it regards itself as perishable mind, body, intellect, identity, but it is never attached to the body or senses. So now here the Lord Krishna embarks on delving deeper and unraveling the mystery of Brahman, the nature of Brahman, the greatest mystery he is going to reveal in just this next verse, 13th verse. Just one verse, if you understand, the 13th verse of 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this will reveal the true glory, immediate presence of God, Brahman, Paramatman, Supreme Self, right now, right here. So first let me recite that shloka and I'll reveal before you the inner nuances of that shloka. 13th. Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvatokchi shiro mukham sarvatah sruti malloke sarvamavritya tisthati. Direct, immediate, intuitive vision of the Lord, the God, the Brahman, or the Self that you have been seeking as the secret or instrument of immortality or liberation from all the sorrows and sufferings is going to be revealed in this one verse, simple verse. Now the Lord says that beginningless Brahman, which ought to be known and knowing which you become immortal, is. Now he is explaining what is the nature, where is he present, how to perceive and realize him. He is saying, Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvatokchi shiro mukham. That beginningless Supreme Brahman has his hands, feet, eyes, ears, nose, everywhere. Sarvatah panipadam tat. Everywhere the Lord has his pani, means hand, padam means feet. Sarvatah pani padam tat sarvatok shishiro mukham. Aksha means eyes, sira head, mukha mouth. Sarvatah pani padam tat sarvatok shishiro mukham sarvatah sruti malloke sarvamavritya tisthati. That Supreme Lord, what is the nature, how to know him, where to see him? He is saying that the beginningless Supreme Brahman has his feet everywhere, his hands everywhere, his eyes and ears everywhere, his mouth everywhere. Sarvatah panipadam tat sarvatokchi shiro mukham sarvatah shruti malloke sarvamavritya tisthati. And the Lord exists, the Brahman exists everywhere by permeating, pervading everything. Literally he says, enveloping everything. Sarvatah shruti malloke sarvam avritya tisthati. Avrit, to envelop. The Brahman, beginningless reality, that is Supreme Reality, alone has enveloped, permeated, pervaded every single atom or particle of every name and form or existence in the universe. Repeat, try to understand the depth and width of this single verse. The Lord, the God, the Brahman, here he is talking about Nirguna Nirakara, Brahman, the transcendent supreme truth. Therefore, there is a process in Vedanta philosophy for immediate self-realization that is called the process of superimposition and negation. So, he is declaring that the beginningless reality, the immortal universal truth, that is called Param Brahma, Supreme Brahman, has his hands everywhere, feet everywhere, nose everywhere, eyes everywhere, ears everywhere, mouth everywhere, head everywhere, And He alone has pervaded, enveloped, permeated everyone, everything in the universe. This ought to be listened, reflected upon hundreds of times. In simple words, what does he imply? It is a stunning implication. It means what he is trying to suggest, that every hand, every feet in the universe that you see, of every creature, every species, every hand of every living being, every jiva is the hand of Brahman. Every feet signifies motion, going, moving. So every feet of every jiva in the universe is that of the Lord, the Brahman. Every eye which sees or perceives the phenomenal universe is the eye of Brahman. Every mouth or head or ear is that of Brahman alone, because Brahman alone has enveloped, permeated and pervaded everyone, everything, everywhere without exception as existence and consciousness. Remember, Brahman, the supreme reality, which until now is just a word for you, a phantom or something mysterious, maybe sitting somewhere up in the sky, that doubt is being dispelled immediately, that Brahman, the Paramatman, is ever present everywhere, and Brahman alone has permeated, pervaded and enveloped everyone, everywhere, in every way, in everything. There is nothing else other than the Brahman. And to make us realize immediately, to perceive, if I may say so, if we could experience intuitively, immediately, directly that the nature of the Brahman, in order for that, he is now saying that every hand. So what is the implication of whether hand or feet or eyes or ears or nose or mouth or head? These are the, whether motor organs or sensory organs, all the organs of our bodies, not only motor or sensory organs, even Antahkarana, inner equipment, mind and intellect, all these organs essentially are enveloped, permeated and pervaded by one reality, that is beginningless supreme truth, that is Brahman. What do you mean by that? I am going to reveal it layer by layer. In other words, take for example, hand signifies action, whether I am writing something, whether I am driving a car or train, or I am a pilot, I am flying the plane, or I am a carpenter or a painter, I am a laborer. Whatever I do to the organ of hand, even if washing my own body, so hand is the most active organ of action. So this, I have been thinking, though, this Swami Sacchidananda, this is the hand of Swami Sacchidananda. That is ignorance. Each one of us thinks that, oh, the Sacchidananda which is perishable, it was the Sacchidananda named person who was born and who would die. So this hand belongs to me, this individual, poor perishable fellow, mortal fellow. No. Right now, right here, the ultimate reality, ultimate truth is that in the action of the hand, the Lord is manifesting, Lord is present. Without the presence of consciousness principle, all the body parts, body parts, motor organs, sense organs and inner equipment are all inert, insentient by themselves. They can't do anything. This table or this wall by themselves, without consciousness, can't move, can't do anything. There must be a consciousness principle, you must understand, which enables, empowers, energizes all the sensory organs to do their respective job. Ear is supposed to hear the words. Eyes are supposed to see the form. Nose is supposed to smell. Mouth is supposed to eat or drink water. My hands are supposed to act in millions of ways, either on computer or by pen or as a laborer. Anything, millions and billions of things are being done by hands, and all hands, not my hand. The hands of the most enlightened one and the most stupid one, the richest and the poorest, whether the human being, most intelligent human being, or that of the hand or feet of mosquito, ant, squirrel or tiger or buffalo, immaterial, the Brahman alone is existing in every single organ. Now we are taking for example the hand or feet. Feet symbolizes motion, walking. We walk on feet. So Brahman is ever present when I walk on my feet. When I act through my hands, Brahman alone is manifesting by virtue of energizing, empowering, illumining, animating principle. There must be consciousness principle, somebody who is commanding what to do and what not to do. Can this table, which is insentient, do anything at its own? If I lock up this room, go out, leave it for 100, 200, whatever years, and keep thinking that let this table do something, it wouldn't do anything. It would perish, it would rot, it would become dust. But at its own, neither this table nor this chair, they won't do anything. So I, being as a jiva, I'm using this table for my study purpose, for my sadhana purpose, or I am keeping my books on this table or this almirah. I am using them. But if there is no consciousness, conscious entity, what use, what action this almirah or this building or this table would be able to perform? So whatever is being done by whichever of the sense organs or motor organs is essentially in a way being done by Brahman, but in another way, Brahman, that Nirguna Nirakar Brahman, is always an actionless and experienceless reality. Nirguna Nirakar Brahman is akarta abhokta. Therefore, this process of superimposition and negation is employed for immediate self-realization, whereby first certain attributes or qualities are superimposed on Brahman. The Brahman, who ultimately in essence is always actionless and akarta abhokta, He is a non-doer, non-experiencer, and yet the greatest mystery is revealed here. And yet nothing in the universe can be done, acted upon, experienced, perceived in absence of Brahman, the pure consciousness. Remove pure consciousness and show me a single emotion, experience, perception, feeling, cognition, or action. Nothing. Pure consciousness, which is Sacchidananda, the supreme reality, the beginningless Brahman, is by itself non-doer, non-experiencer, and yet every action in the universe by every jiva is performed by the proximity, in the presence of pure consciousness alone. Thereby pure consciousness is Brahman. Pure consciousness is Sacchidananda, Bhagavan, Brahman, that is Lord Krishna. That pure consciousness, that is the ultimate definition of the supreme reality in Vedanta philosophy and Vedic culture. So that supreme reality of the nature of pure consciousness is ever present in every action of every either sense organ or motor organ on inner equipments called mind, intellect. Everywhere in every act, repeat, this alone is being explained everywhere in all the Upanishads, all the verses of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and millions of scriptures written by Advaita masters like Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya and others. To explain this only, that is why they declare Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaivana Paraha, right now, right here and everywhere, ever. That Brahman is the only reality, the Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness alone is responsible for the action of your hands and everyone's hand, irrespective of the species. Where the smallest insect or cosmic mind, first cosmic being called Brahma. Every hand essentially is that of Brahman, as Lord Krishna said, Sarvatah Pani Padam Tat. And then I explained to you, it means and it implies every hand, every feet, every eye, every ear, every nose, mouth, tongue, or head, every organ essentially belongs to Brahman, the supreme reality, and in the actions of each organ, the respective actions performed by the respective senses, you are face to face with Brahman in the acts of those respective senses. When I will take up one or two examples to directly penetrate and go face to face with that Sacchidananda Brahman, which is an ever-present reality here, there, everywhere. Let's take. He is saying that the Brahman, that is pure consciousness, has his hands everywhere, and in the Bhashya, in the commentary, it implies that every hand of the universe, every feet of the universe, and all the sensory and motor organs essentially belong to Lord. So Lord alone is there, first thing. And thereby, in the functions of the organs and their respective performances or functions being performed, the Lord alone is manifesting. The Lord alone can be intuitively, the mystery I will reveal in the next step, the invisible, the Lord can't be, the Brahman, the Nirguna Nirakara Brahman, the transcendent reality, since is of the nature of, mind you, very carefully listen this line. Why I am not able to see God through my naked eyes or perceive directly through my senses? Because Lord, the God, the Supreme Brahman of the nature of pure consciousness is invisible, seer, perceiver, experiencer of the all perceptions in the universe, all seeing in the universe, all cognition in the universe. So that pure consciousness which is invisible, non-dual, ever-present seer in every seeing, universal, eternal perceiver in every perception, eternal, universal, non-dual experiencer in every experience of yours, mine and everyone and everything else. How immediate is there anything more immediate, more intimate, more instant? People say, oh, you are talking about tatkala mukti, sadhyo mukti, immediate self-realization or immediate liberation. Yes, the God, the Brahman of the Advaita Vedanta can never be realized in the next moment. The Brahman, the Paramatman of Advaita Vedanta, Shankar Vedanta can never ever be experienced or realized in other. First, because it is eternally, universally, naturally present within you as the eternal seer, universal subject. That Brahman, now ultimate revelation. The seer, I am saying that the Brahman is present, Paramatman is present, the pure consciousness, it is none other than and nothing other than your own Atman, the self. And what is self? That self is nothing but I. It's ever shining within you and me and everyone, every jiva as aham pratyay. I consciousness in its purest form is the supreme reality. That alone is Brahman, that alone is Sacchidananda, that alone is Shiva Rama or Lord Krishna, and that is ever present within your heart. That is the illumining power within your mind and intellect, and that in turn empowers, energizes and animates every single motor organ and sensory organ and mind and intellect to perform their respective functions. Now you tell me right now, come at this moment. I am speaking something, I am talking to you, my hands are moving. Where is God here? God is ever present here, right now, naked. Since that Brahman is seer, eternal seer, it never becomes seen. It pure consciousness by its nature, everything and everyone in the universe, which is an object, which can be perceived or seen as an object of consciousness, is illusory. That is called Maya. That is perishable. That is mortal. That is an appearance. That is what called Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jagan, the entire phenomenal universe, by definition of being an object of consciousness. And where is consciousness? I am pure consciousness. I am seer of the entire universe. For me, I am the sole truth. I, as pure consciousness, alone am enveloping the entire universe, permeating and pervading everyone, everything, every organ, every function is being illumined, energized, empowered and animated by me. of the nature of pure consciousness. I, the Brahman, now here come in the first person, the Brahman, beginningless reality, which ought to be known, and knowing which and whom you become immortal, is none other than you, Tattvam Asi. It's you and your pure I, the perceiving, the eternal universal subject which perceives everything but invisible. Anything and everything that is amenable to sensory perception is part of Maya, illusory world. It is not existence nor consciousness. Because I am the seer. I am eternal seer. I am universal perceiver. I am non-dual experiencer as pure consciousness. So I never ever can become object of sensory perception. That's why I am invisible seer of all. I am invisible experiencer of all as Brahman. Now tell me, who, where, at what point of time ever in the annals of human history has experienced one's non-existence? Can you tell me one insect go and examine the behavior of a mosquito, a squirrel, a bird, a tiger, or an elephant, or a human being? Each and every one of the beings are always, if without any exception for a nanosecond, always aware of one constant reality, that is I-ness, I consciousness. You forget about everyone else. Think about yourself. You tell me, have you ever in your life, you have hit upon a moment or any incident or experience where you are absent in that experience? This just one example, this one challenge, you reflect on this deeply, you will hit upon self-realization immediately, God realization. The secret of immortality, the ultimate accomplishment, that is Sadhyo Mukti, will be attained right now, right here. Once you see that the I of mind, the I-ness is the only constant factor in my life, my experience, my existence. The rest are ever changing. My relationship with my husband, wife, parents, children, foes, friends, neighbors, everyone, everything, my own body has been changing, is changing. But the only constant factor which is Nitya, that is Shuddha Bodha Nitya, my pure consciousness, I as the seer, I as the universal perceiver, I as the eternal subject, is ever present, and the entire object, the aggregate objective world, is ever changing. The sun, the moon, the galaxies, this earth, and all the relationships, everything is subject to change, but me, I have never changed. Mind you, the difference between this I is not reflective of or indicative of the mind or ego, which would say, oh, I am sad or I am happy. This is the function of mind, and I am seer of mind. I can perceive directly. My mind, my state of, my mental state are always an object of my experience. My intellect, whether it's working sharply, intelligently, or it is not performing up to the mark, it behaves as if it's dull, I am perceiving, I can understand it. Therefore, whether my body or the entire aggregate of bodies in the universe, or within myself, the subtle body called mind, body, intellect, mind, intellect, ego, they are amenable to my perception. I perceive them, I see them. The state of my intellect, the state of my mind. Therefore, I can't be my mind, I can't be my intellect. And mind changes, the state of mind and mood changes, the state of intellect changes, the state of body organs, of course, is changing, ever changing. The only factor that is constant, nitya, is I, me, for I am of the nature of pure consciousness, and as pure consciousness I am never bound either by the law of time, space or causation. Time can't prohibit or obstruct my existence. Space can't limit, inhibit, obstruct my existence. And the forces of causation can never ever have any impact on me, for I am the causes of, I am cause of all the causes, all time, space and causation. I am absolute reality. As pure consciousness, my I, once I go deep within, as Lord Krishna is saying, I am revealing before you the mystery that has been revealed in the 13th verse of 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and as narrated by Lord Krishna. So, Brahman, the beginningless reality, is ever present within me, within you, and ever shining as I. And as the universal seer, perceiver, experiencer, I am the sole non-dual reality, and I can see, I can perceive my own presence, that is the Brahman. And what is my nature? Sat Chit Ananda, eternal existence, eternal existence. Sat is a technically defined word in Vedanta philosophy. That which is eternal and immutable alone is called Sat. Chid here is pure consciousness that is free from the triputi of seer, seen and seeing. That is pure consciousness. And this pure consciousness is of blissful nature intrinsically. So, Sacchidananda, I am that. There are three separate attributes, if I may say so, of I myself. The pure consciousness alone is appearing as entire existence. What is the real, original, fundamental nature of existence? It is not existing as objects, names and forms. The pure fundamental reality is of the nature of pure consciousness, non-dual consciousness, and that reality alone is called Brahman, Paramatman, Bhagavan, as in Bhagavad Mahapurana, Shukadeva declares, Vadanti tat tattvavidah yat tattvam jnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaneti shabdyate. Advayam, that non-dual, indivisible, pure consciousness alone has been described by the knowers of the supreme truth. The sages and seers have described as Brahman, Paramatman, Bhagavan, pure consciousness. I am talking about not only the definition of the Vedanta or Upanishad in Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti yat tattvavidah yat tattvam jnanam advayam. Jnana advayam, that is Shuddha Bodha, pure consciousness. Simple translation. Jnanam advayam, that free from triputi, trinity of seer, seeing and seen, that is in the realm of Maya. The pure consciousness never ever becomes divided. It never becomes amenable to duality. It remains as it is, but due to ignorance, that seer eternal, Sakshi Chaitanya, pure consciousness in its purest form, is called Brahman, Paramatman, and that pure consciousness is ever present, ever permeating, pervading everything in the world. Every action is being animated, empowered, energized, as very specifically Lord Krishna has said that all the eyes, all the ears, all the mouth, head, all the hands, feet are that of Brahman, and thereby every action being performed by all the motor organs or sensory organs or inner equipments are essentially being performed by the Brahman, but Brahman is non-doer, non-enjoyer or non-experiencer. So what is the reality? In the presence it is being revealed, the revelation of the Supreme Lord, the Brahman, because Brahman is not amenable to direct sensory perception. So how to know it? That is the method of adhyas apavada. Certain functions by certain organs being performed are a reality of each moment of us. So even if God is a non-doer, non-performer, actionless supreme reality of the nature of pure consciousness, there can't be anything anywhere ever acted upon, performed or energized by anyone else in absence of my I-ness. I am that constant factor. I am Brahman. I am Sacchidananda. Because I in its purest form is nothing but pure consciousness. I is not indicative of this gross body or sense organs. No, I is nameless, formless, limitless, pure consciousness, and I as universal, eternal subject, see, perceive, energize, empower everyone, everywhere, everything, and therefore I am present. This entire universe is, now I was talking in second person as Lord Krishna, but now I realize within myself that Brahman, the beginningless reality, the Brahman is none other than I myself as pure consciousness, as universal subject. I am the only universal, eternal, one, non-dual subject. The entire objective world is an appearance in me. That is why Jagan Mithya. The entire realm of phenomenal universe is an appearance within me, upon me, through me, and every action being performed by every jiva or its organs are essentially empowered, energized, enabled in my presence only. In my absence there is nothing, no existence in the universe. In my absence there can't be any experience. It's your mind, everyone's reality. So I am that supreme reality and you are the same. The I ever shining I within you and within me is one and the same I. There are not two eyes. That is universal seer, universal perceiver. And so every moment now you can experience Brahman. In every act or performance of every organ of anybody, you can see there that Brahman is present by virtue of empowering, enabling, energizing, animating that particular organ to perform their respective functions. So that is direct, immediate self-realization, and that pure consciousness who is energizing everyone and everything is none other than I myself as pure consciousness. I am Shiva of the nature of pure consciousness. I am Sacchidananda of the nature of pure consciousness. And I alone am permeating and pervading everything, everyone in the universe. There is none other than me. And affirm that reality and go deeper and see for yourself. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham